This is a map of California, a state as vast as it is diverse. With a land area is approximately 164,000 square miles, it's the third largest state in the U.S. after Alaska and Texas. Home to nearly 39 million people, California is also the most populous state, with a population larger than the entire country of Canada. California officially became part of the United States in 1850, joining as the 31st state following the Mexican-American War and the discovery of gold that sparked the famous gold rush. Its flag, known as the bear flag, is a symbol of strength and independence. The grizzly bear represents the determination of California's people. And no, don't worry, that red star isn't a secret tribute to communism. It's just a nod to the California Republic. The bold red stripe, meanwhile, stands for courage, adding the final touch to this striking flag design. Currently, the state is led by Governor Gavin Newsom, a Democrat, and California has long been a Democratic stronghold in national politics. In fact, California gave the U.S. one of its most iconic presidents, Ronald Reagan, who served 2 terms in the White House after governing the state. California is home to many influential individuals who have left a lasting mark on the United States. One of the most famous Californians is Steve Jobs, the visionary co-founder of Apple, whose innovations in personal computing, smartphones, and digital media reshaped the technology landscape and influenced millions worldwide. Another notable Californian is Dianne Feinstein, a long-serving U.S. senator known for her leadership on critical issues like gun control and national security, helping to shape major policy debates in the country. Economically, California is a titan. Its gross state product reached a mind-boggling $4.0 trillion in 2024, making it richer than countries like the United Kingdom and Canada. If California were its own nation, it would rank as the 5th largest economy in the world, outpacing countries like India and Russia. California's geographic location also gives it a massive advantage. It's a key player in the global supply chain, handling around 40% of goods imported into the U.S. From the booming ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach to Silicon Valley's tech innovation, California is at the heart of global commerce. Stay tuned as we explore more about the Golden State's remarkable contributions. And now, a little question to entertain you. Which animal is the state symbol of California? A. Bald eagle. B. Grizzly bear. C. Mountain lion. D. Gray wolf. Write in the comments what you think. Patiently watch this video until the end to find out the correct answer. And now let's start. Number 10. Alcatraz Prison Island. Perched on a rocky isle in the center of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz is enveloped in enigma and folklore. Known as The Rock, Alcatraz was once regarded as the most dreaded federal penitentiary in the United States, accommodating some of the most infamous criminals of its era. Originally, Alcatraz functioned as a military fort and subsequently as a military prison in the 1850s, protecting the entrance to San Francisco Bay. Its strategic position made it an ideal location for defending against potential threats. Nevertheless, by the 1930s, as crime rates escalated during the Prohibition era, the U.S. government opted to convert Alcatraz into a high-security federal prison. In 1934, it was officially transformed into a maximum security institution intended to house the country's most dangerous and incorrigible inmates. With its frigid, perilous waters, powerful currents, and frequent fog, the island was thought to be the ideal site for a prison from which no one could escape. The prison's remote location and the frigid waters of the bay contributed an additional psychological dimension to the sentences of the inmates, reinforcing the notion that once a person was sent to Alcatraz, there was no escape. Alcatraz rapidly gained a reputation as the most secure prison in the United States. It was constructed to be impervious, featuring fortress-like walls, iron bars, and a security guard stationed at each corner. The prison was reputed to be escape-proof, and for the majority of its history, that reputation remained intact. The powerful tidal currents and icy waters of the bay served as natural obstacles that rendered escape almost unfeasible. Despite its seemingly impenetrable character, Alcatraz continued to encounter multiple escape attempts. Over the course of its 29 years in operation, 36 individuals attempted to escape from the Rock. However, official records indicate that none of them were successful. Some were captured, some perished, and others vanished into the frigid waters, never to be seen again. The most well-known escape attempt occurred in 1962, led by Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, who successfully tunneled through their cell walls and disappeared into the night using a makeshift raft. While the ultimate outcome remains unknown, the escape intrigued the public and contributed to Alcatraz's legendary reputation. Alcatraz was home to some of the most notorious criminals in America, transforming it into a legendary site. One of its most infamous residents was Al Capone, the notorious gangster who dominated Chicago's underworld during the Prohibition era. Capone arrived at Alcatraz in 1934, anticipating that he could bribe his way to comfort, as he had done in other prisons. However, at Alcatraz, the regulations were different. Capone was treated like any other inmate, deprived of his power and influence. Due to his exemplary conduct, Capone was allowed to play the banjo in the Alcatraz prison band known as the Rock Islanders, which held regular Sunday concerts for fellow inmates. At Alcatraz, Capone's deterioration became more apparent as neurosyphilis gradually impaired his mental abilities. He spent the final year of his Alcatraz sentence in the hospital section, feeling confused and disoriented. Capone finished his time at Alcatraz on January 6, 1939, after which he was moved to the Federal Correctional Institution at Terminal Island in California to complete his sentence for contempt of court. Later, he was granted parole following an appeal from his wife May to the court, citing his diminished mental capacities. By the 1960s, the maintenance of Alcatraz had become prohibitively expensive due to its deteriorating infrastructure and elevated operational costs. In 1963, the prison was formally shut down, and the inmates were moved to different facilities. Alcatraz's narrative as a prison had concluded, yet its legacy was far from finished. Today, Alcatraz serves as a national park and ranks among San Francisco's most frequented tourist destinations. Visitors have the opportunity to stroll through the cells that once housed some of America's most dangerous criminals and witness firsthand why this location was deemed inescapable. The chilling tales of those who lived and perished within its confines continue to captivate, serving as a reminder of an era when Alcatraz represented more than merely an island. It stood as a symbol of absolute imprisonment. As you can see, Californians tend to be quite strict regarding law and order. Now, let's proceed to the next fact. Number 9. The almond boom. Did you know that California is currently the world's top producer of almonds, providing approximately 80% of the global market? This flourishing industry, commonly referred to as the almond rush, has become a vital component of California's agricultural landscape, transforming extensive areas of the Central Valley into orchards filled with white blossoms and golden nuts. But how did almonds become established in California, and what obstacles do they encounter today? The journey of the almond to California started in the mid-19th century, introduced by Spanish missionaries who planted the initial trees while they were setting up missions along the coast. The climate of California's Central Valley, characterized by hot, dry summers and cool, wet winters, resembled that of the almond's native Mediterranean, creating optimal growing conditions. Today, California's almond orchards span over 1 million acres, extending as far as the eye can see. The sight of almond blossoms in spring, commonly known as California's other snow, serves as a lovely reminder of the state's agricultural capabilities. The industry produces billions of dollars each year, benefiting not only farmers, but also a comprehensive network of individuals engaged in the harvesting, processing, and distribution of almonds worldwide. California almonds are highly valued for their exceptional quality and versatility. They are utilized in a wide range of products, including snacks, dairy items, cosmetics, and cooking oils. However, cultivating this important crop presents considerable difficulties. Almond trees need a significant amount of water, an increasingly limited resource in drought-prone California. Farmers have had to adjust by employing advanced irrigation systems and innovative agricultural practices to minimize water consumption and maintain the productivity of their orchards. The almond sector is also under environmental scrutiny. Concerns regarding water consumption, pesticide usage, and effects on bee populations have compelled growers to seek more sustainable farming methods. In response, numerous almond farmers are at the forefront of adopting environmentally friendly practices, including the planting of cover crops to enhance soil health, minimizing chemical usage, and utilizing solar-powered irrigation systems. As the global demand for almonds increases, California's orchards will continue to yield their bountiful harvest, preserving the legacy of the almond rush. California, known as the Sunny State, generates a wide array of wonderful and useful products. But when you observe its symbol, you may question, how sweet is it truly? Stay with us as we proceed to the next fact. Number 8. Cinema Capital. California exerts significant influence on the world primarily because of Hollywood, which has historically served as the hub of global entertainment. Through its films, television programs, and cultural products, Hollywood influences global perceptions, trends, and ideals. By the early 20th century, Los Angeles was growing quickly, and Hollywood was beginning to attract the interest of a new type of industry, the film business. During that period, the film industry was centered in New York and New Jersey. However, severe winters and elevated expenses were hindering filmmakers from operating throughout the year. They were looking for a location that offered more dependable weather, ample open spaces, and, preferably, reduced expenses. California, basking in its perpetual sunshine, appeared to be the ideal answer. By 1911, the first film studio was established, and shortly thereafter, an increasing number of filmmakers began to emerge. As more studios emerged, the industry expanded quickly. By the 1920s, Hollywood emerged as the hub of the film industry. Celebrities such as Charlie Chaplin, Mary Pickford, and Douglas Fairbanks became well-known figures, leading to the construction of movie palaces throughout the nation to display the newest films. Hollywood had become a symbol of cinema, and it was well on its way to representing American culture and ambition. The 1920s and 1930s are commonly known as the Golden Age of Hollywood. This era was marked by the dominance of the studio system and the creation of some of the greatest films in cinematic history. MGM, Warner Brothers, Paramount, and Universal were the titans of the industry, producing films that enthralled audiences worldwide. The stars of Hollywood became iconic figures. Individuals such as Clark Gable, Greta Garbo, and Marlene Dietrich illuminated the silver screen, while directors like Alfred Hitchcock and Frank Capra expanded the limits of storytelling and filmmaking. The 1950s and 60s witnessed the emergence of new genres and stars, ranging from grand historical epics like Ben-Hur to the rebellious youth films featuring James Dean and Marlon Brando. Filmmaking methods evolved to become more advanced, with directors such as Stanley Kubrick and Steven Spielberg introducing a fresh level of creativity to the art form. But the TV series was also on its way to dominance. For instance, I Love Lucy was a pioneering American sitcom that aired between 1951 and 1957, featuring Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. The show centered around the humorous escapades of Lucy Ricardo, a playful yet troublesome housewife, and her husband Ricky, a Cuban bandleader. Renowned for its witty humor, memorable scenes, and the remarkable chemistry among its cast, I Love Lucy emerged as one of the most cherished and impactful programs in the history of television. It was among the earliest television series to be filmed in front of a live studio audience, establishing the benchmark for subsequent sitcoms. What are your favorite films from old Hollywood? Today, Hollywood continues to be a significant emblem of the entertainment industry. While the studios of the past have transformed and the film industry has expanded globally, Hollywood remains the core of American cinema. The hills that once produced oranges have now become the residence of the biggest names in film, and the dreamers who arrive in Hollywood continue to seek the same thing, an opportunity to create magic on the silver screen. The narratives presented on screen connect with billions of individuals worldwide, establishing California as a significant force in soft power. Hollywood's capacity to craft and disseminate engaging narratives has established it as not only a center for creativity and innovation, but also a significant influence in shaping global pop culture, fashion, and even societal values. Number 7. The first Disneyland. When you envision Disneyland today, you may picture a magical destination brimming with beloved characters, exhilarating attractions, and unforgettable experiences shared with loved ones. The tale of Disneyland's inception is closely linked to the visionary responsible for its creation, Walt Disney, whose aspiration was to build something that transcended a typical amusement park. For those of us who recall the early days of Disneyland or grew up listening to stories about it, the park occupies a unique spot in our hearts. But what was the origin of it all? In the early 1940s, Walt Disney had already gained significant recognition for producing cherished animated films such as Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, Pinocchio, and Fantasia. But despite his success in Hollywood, Disney's mind was constantly abuzz with new ideas. As a father of two young daughters, Walt frequently brought them to various amusement parks in the Los Angeles region. However, he discovered that these parks were insufficient. Many were unclean, offered few entertainment options for families, and failed to deliver the wholesome experience he had envisioned. Walt envisioned a space where children and their parents could have fun together, a venue that would be clean, well-organized, and filled with the kind of magic he was renowned for creating in his films. What he envisioned was not merely an amusement park, but a theme park where storytelling, imagination, and creativity would be the focal points. By the early 1950s, Walt Disney was prepared to make his dream a reality. After an extensive search lasting several months, Disney chose a 160-acre orange grove located in Anaheim, roughly 30 miles south of Los Angeles. At that time, Anaheim was predominantly rural, characterized by farms and open spaces, yet Disney recognized its potential. He was confident that this site would provide sufficient space for his grand plans and be convenient for families coming from nearby cities. Construction of Disneyland commenced in 1954, and Walt had grand aspirations. He aimed for the park to be opened within a year. He had faith in his dream and motivated his team to conquer every obstacle. Disneyland welcomed its first visitors on July 17, 1955. The inaugural day was an overwhelming success. More than 28,000 visitors passed through the gates, excited to immerse themselves in the enchantment of Disneyland. Walt Disney was present, welcoming guests and admiring the park he'd envisioned for many years. One of the most unforgettable moments occurred when Walt dedicated the park with the following words: "To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land." Here, age brings back cherished memories from the past, while youth can enjoy the challenges and potential that lie ahead. More than 65 years since its inauguration, Disneyland remains a beacon of joy and creativity for individuals of all ages. But for those who recall the early days, there is something unique about being aware of the park's history and the remarkable journey that Walt Disney undertook to realize his dream. His drive, inventiveness, and foresight contributed to the creation of not only a theme park, but also a cultural phenomenon that would impact future generations. Number 6. Silicon Valley, Startup Paradise. The origins of Silicon Valley can be traced back to the 1930s, when a young professor named Frederick Terman at Stanford University began to encourage his students to develop their ideas and establish their own companies. Among Terman's most distinguished students were William Hewlett and David Packard, two young engineers who eventually established Hewlett-Packard in a garage located in Palo Alto in 1939. The HP garage has since evolved into a legendary emblem of Silicon Valley's modest beginnings, a reminder that some of the largest technological revolutions in the world can emerge from the most unremarkable locations. In the 1950s and 60s, a new wave of innovation emerged: the semiconductor. Semiconductors, tiny chips capable of managing electrical signals, would transform the electronics industry and establish the groundwork for contemporary computing. The creation of the integrated circuit by Robert Noyce in 1959 represented a significant milestone for the area. Noyce co-founded Fairchild Semiconductor, which was among the first companies to produce these chips on a large scale. His contributions played a significant role in initiating a period of swift technological progress. As semiconductor companies grew in number, the area acquired its new designation, Silicon Valley, named after the silicon utilized in manufacturing these essential chips. By the 1970s and 1980s, Silicon Valley emerged as the origin of the personal computer revolution. Two young entrepreneurs, Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak, established Apple Computer in a garage located in Cupertino in 1976. With the introduction of the Apple II, one of the earliest successful personal computers, Apple transformed the way individuals engaged with technology. Computers were no longer limited to scientists and engineers. They became accessible to all. Around the same time, a small startup named Microsoft started to create a buzz with its software. As the 1990s drew near, the internet began to surface as the next frontier, with Silicon Valley once more leading this revolution. The dot-com boom led to the emergence of companies such as Google, Yahoo, and eBay, which transformed how individuals accessed information, shopped, and communicated. The rise of internet-based companies has solidified Silicon Valley's position as a leading global hub of innovation and economic influence. Today, Silicon Valley hosts some of the most influential companies globally, including Apple, Google, Facebook, and Tesla, among others. The innovations created in this relatively small area of California have transformed the globe. Smartphones, search engines, electric vehicles, and social media platforms have transformed how individuals live, work, and interact worldwide. Wow! The Hidden Discovery team is amazed by the wealth of the state of California. It includes all the essentials: the ocean, sunny beaches, and plenty of money. Now, let's proceed to the next fact. Number 5. The Gold Rush Era. Can you believe that 200 years ago, California was a peaceful and unremarkable place, distant from the lively cities of the East? The area governed by Mexico was not particularly prosperous. The economy depended on basic agriculture and cattle ranching, providing little more than dust and aspirations. But then in 1848, the land itself disclosed its secret, a discovery of gold that would alter its fate forever. In January 1848, a skilled carpenter named James W. Marshall was employed by John Sutter, a Swiss immigrant with aspirations of creating an agricultural empire in California. Sutter employed Marshall to manage the construction of a sawmill on his property along the American River close to Coloma. One day, Marshall was examining the tail race of the mill. As he strolled by the riverbank, he observed something peculiar shimmering in the water. Intrigued, Marshall crouched to examine the small flecks glimmering in the sunlight. He plunged his hand into the frigid water and retrieved a handful of what appeared to be glistening stones. Marshall's heart raced with excitement, but he was uncertain about what he had discovered. Could it truly be gold? He hurried to Sutter. Both men quickly came to understand the reality. They had discovered gold, genuine gold, concealed within the ground beneath their mill. Committed to maintaining the confidentiality of their discovery, they pledged to keep it a secret from one another, wishing to proceed with their work discreetly. However, it was impossible to keep such a monumental discovery concealed. Word spread rapidly, and in just a few months the California gold rush commenced, attracting tens of thousands of fortune seekers to the area and permanently changing the trajectory of California's history. The population of California has significantly increased. San Francisco, once a small town with a population of fewer than 1,000, rapidly transformed into a thriving city almost overnight. By the close of 1849, the population had increased to more than 25,000. Individuals from diverse backgrounds, such as farmers, lawyers, and whole families, abandoned their previous lives in pursuit of the opportunity to discover gold. In a matter of just a few years, California evolved from a distant outpost into one of the most significant regions in the nation. Its population increased significantly, its economy thrived, and its infrastructure expanded quickly. New towns and cities emerged, roads and railways were constructed, and businesses thrived, meeting the demands of the swiftly expanding population. The large surge of individuals also accelerated California's entry into the Union. In 1850, only 2 years following the discovery of gold, California was admitted as the 31st state. Its swift ascent to statehood was exceptional, as the majority of territories required many years to attain that status. The gold rush served as a driving force behind the westward expansion of the United States, realizing the nation's manifest destiny to extend from coast to coast. The gold rush not only transformed California, but also left a significant mark on the national economy. The wealth generated from California's gold deposits played a significant role in financing the Industrial Revolution and the development of infrastructure throughout the United States, including the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad in 1869. It created new markets and opportunities, nurturing a spirit of entrepreneurship that would shape the American economy for generations to come. Imagine if James W. Marshall had not discovered gold. How might California appear today? perhaps the subsequent fact may not have come to be without the gold rush. Number 4. Wealthier than Russia. This is Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, addressing an economic forum, stating that Russia is the 4th largest economy globally and has surpassed Japan. But Vladimir Putin clearly overlooked the GDP of California. The state of California has the largest economy in the United States, boasting a gross state product of $3.987 trillion as of 2024. It holds the title of the largest subnational economy globally. If California were an independent nation, it would be the 5th largest economy in the world in terms of nominal GDP, ranking behind Japan and ahead of India with its $3.937 trillion. In 2022, California's economy surpassed that of the United Kingdom, France, Canada, and Russia. Isn't that astonishing? And Russia is approximately 42 times larger than California. Californians demonstrate that vast territories are not a requirement for industriousness and living in abundance. As the most populous state in the U.S., California's economy is diverse, featuring many substantial sectors. The most influential sectors among these are finance, business services, government, and manufacturing. A significant portion of economic activity is focused in coastal cities, particularly Los Angeles, which has a strong emphasis on media, most notably Hollywood, and the San Francisco Bay Area, which primarily centers around technology. Both cities, in addition to other major ports like San Diego, serve as important trade hubs for the United States. California's agriculture sector boasts the highest output of any state in the U.S., with the Central Valley recognized as one of the most productive agricultural areas globally, responsible for producing over half of the nation's fruits, vegetables, and nuts. Another essential element of California's contemporary economy is its prominence in renewable energy. The state's progressive policies regarding renewable energy have positioned it as a global leader in green technology and innovation. Solar farms currently span large areas of desert terrain, while wind turbines are scattered throughout the scenery, and geothermal plants harness the Earth's natural heat, all of which contribute to California's energy independence while decreasing dependence on fossil fuels. This not only bolsters California's economy, but also establishes it as a significant contributor in the global battle against climate change. California's position on the Pacific Rim provides it with a distinctive edge in international trade. The ports of the state, especially the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, rank among the busiest in the world, managing a vast amount of goods arriving from Asia and various other regions. These ports act as an essential entry point for international commerce, enabling California to assume a pivotal position in the worldwide supply chain. California's ports facilitate the movement of billions of dollars worth of products each year, ranging from electronics and automobiles to clothing and consumer goods. This trade enhances not only the state's economy, but also strengthens its status as a global economic center, linking the U.S. to important markets worldwide. California is a state that promotes innovation and propels the advancement of all humanity. Now, let's proceed to the next fact. Number 3. The Avocado Hub. California, famous for its sunny beaches, Hollywood celebrities, and technological advancements, is also the home of another treasure: avocados. These smooth green fruits have established themselves as a fundamental part of California cuisine and represent the state's abundant agricultural heritage. But how did California emerge as the avocado capital of the United States, and what factors contribute to the continued success of this green gold today? The tale of avocados in California starts well away from its sun-drenched orchards. Avocados originate from south-central Mexico, where they were grown by the Aztecs as early as 500 BC. In the 1930s, farmers found that the coastal climate of California was perfect for cultivating avocados, especially in regions such as San Diego County. Small groves started to emerge, and the popularity of avocados gradually increased. The significant increase in avocado farming occurred following World War II. With California's population growing rapidly, the demand for avocados has surged. Farmers started to plant additional trees, test various types, and enhance their cultivation methods. The Hass avocado, created by a California mail carrier named Rudolph Hass in the 1930s, became the most favored variety because of its rich flavor, extended growing season, and capacity to endure shipping without damage. By the 1950s and 1960s, California had solidified its status as the avocado capital of the United States. The farmers in the state, a significant number of whom operated small family-run businesses, labored diligently to satisfy the increasing demand. They created cooperatives to sell their fruit, and the California Avocado Commission was founded to promote the state's avocados and inform consumers about their health advantages. Today, California is responsible for approximately 90% of the avocados produced in the United States. Each year, the industry produces nearly $400 million in revenue, which supports local economies and creates jobs in farming, packing, and distribution. However, cultivating avocados comes with its own set of challenges. Water shortages, increasing expenses, and climate change have all affected the industry. Avocado trees demand considerable water resources, and California's recurring droughts have compelled farmers to implement more sustainable methods. Many farmers have adopted water-efficient technologies, including drip irrigation and soil moisture sensors, to lessen their environmental impact while sustaining their yields. As you cut into your next avocado, whether it's for a salad, a sandwich, or traditional guacamole, keep in mind that you're savoring a piece of California's rich agricultural heritage. And although the future may present new challenges, one thing remains clear: California will persist as the avocado capital, cultivating its green gold for generations ahead. Avocados consistently evoke memories for Californians regarding their historical ties to Mexico, but the next product refers to a connection with Spain. Can you figure out which one it is? Please stay right where you are, as we're about to continue. Number 2. Yosemite Wilderness Area. Yosemite National Park showcases the full splendor of nature's beauty. For more than 150 years, it has enchanted millions, attracting visitors from every part of the world who come to experience its breathtaking landscapes. But what is it that makes Yosemite so unique, and why does it remain one of the most cherished national parks in the United States? Yosemite's most recognizable characteristic is its granite cliffs, sculpted by glaciers millions of years ago into breathtaking formations that seem to defy gravity. El Capitan, a towering vertical rock formation that rises over 3,000 feet, is a beloved challenge for rock climbers and an awe-inspiring sight for everyone who looks at it. Nearby, Half Dome stands tall like a magnificent guardian, its unique form commanding the skyline. These enormous stone giants, illuminated by sunlight during the day and moonlight at night, provide Yosemite with an aura of eternal grandeur. But it's not solely the rock that contributes to Yosemite's uniqueness, it's also the water that courses through it. Yosemite Falls, recognized as one of the tallest waterfalls in North America, crashes down in 3 distinct cascades, creating mist in the valley beneath. In spring, the waterfalls in the park reach their highest flow, nourished by the melting snow from the mountains, producing a symphony of rushing water that resonates throughout the valleys. Bridal Veil Fall, characterized by its delicate and wispy appearance, brings a sense of elegance to the rough terrain. Yosemite is also the habitat of some of the oldest and largest living trees in the world, the giant sequoias. The Mariposa Grove, found in the southern region of the park, is a cathedral filled with ancient giants, some of which have been standing for more than 2,000 years. The grizzly giant, one of the oldest trees in the grove, serves as a quiet observer of centuries of transformation and stands as a strong reminder of nature's resilience. For numerous individuals, Yosemite represents more than merely a park. It serves as a site for contemplation and revitalization. It provides a profound sense of tranquility and a bond with the natural environment. It serves as a reminder of the beauty that exists beyond our hectic lives and stands as a testament to the importance of preservation. Now, do you remember our question? Which animal is the state symbol of California? A. Bald eagle. B. Grizzly bear. C. Mountain lion. D. Gray wolf. And the correct answer is B. Grizzly bear. Number 1. The grizzly bear's extinction. The California grizzly bear, a once mighty emblem of the Golden State, roamed freely throughout the expansive terrains of California, from the rugged Sierra Nevada mountains to the sun-kissed coastlines. This magnificent animal, which can weigh as much as 1,500 pounds and reach a height of over 8 feet, was an impressive sight that captured the wild, untamed essence of early California. The grizzly bear represented more than merely a formidable animal. It was an integral aspect of California's identity. Early pioneers and adventurers frequently mentioned the bear's power and bravery. The image of the bear was embraced by the California Republic during its short-lived existence in 1846. When California achieved statehood in 1850, the grizzly was officially recognized as a state symbol. To the pioneers, the bear symbolized the untamed spirit of the frontier, a place of opportunity and challenge. As settlers migrated to California during the gold rush, the state's landscapes started to transform. Towns, railroads, and farms emerged almost overnight, drawing people nearer to the grizzly's habitat. These bears, once recognized as the unquestioned rulers of the California wilderness, encountered direct confrontations with humans. To the settlers, the grizzly was more than merely a symbol. It represented a danger to their livestock, crops, and lives. The grizzly bear's demise occurred rapidly. As California's population increased, efforts to manage the bear population also expanded. Grizzlies were pursued without mercy, regarded as perilous nuisances to be eliminated instead of respected icons to be preserved. By the late 1800s, the bears had been pushed to the brink of extinction by bounty hunters, settlers, and ranchers. The final confirmed sighting of the California grizzly occurred in 1922 in the Sierra Madre Mountains, signifying the conclusion of an era. With the grizzly's disappearance, California has lost a significant part of its natural heritage. The bear that once inhabited the forests and valleys of the state now survives solely in historical records, vintage photographs, and the flag that continues to fly above the state capitol. Ironically, while the bear remains a proud symbol of California, its extinction serves as a poignant reminder of the state's complex relationship with its wild past. Please share your thoughts in the comments. Would you like to see the grizzly bear make a comeback in California? Now let's proceed to the next fact. Thank you for joining us in discovering the hidden corners of California. Please let us know in the comments which U.S. state you think we should focus on for our next video, and explore additional hidden discoveries available on our channel.